Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Unqualified Experts. Today we have a very special guest. Mr. Dave Temple is here to give us sound advice.
Always.
I feel like I've done a lot of podcasts with you. I feel like you're gonna have really good advice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's like this is good for entertainment or like you know what you're talking about.
You can do both.
No,
I feel like you can do both. I feel
Okay.
like your advice can be both entertaining and also actually good advice.
All right, cool. Let's see.
We're gonna.
Unqualified experts for sure.
Yeah, we're not qualified for this at all, but we're gonna do it anyway. Jumping right into this one. This person is, oh boy, a man talking about his mom and his wife. Talk about mother-in-law from hell.
Okay.
I was at work Monday and I noticed I had a voicemail. I opened it and it was my wife and one-year-old son screaming. I tried to call my wife back, but there was no answer. I called multiple times, but still no answer. So I called my mom because we all live together and she told me my wife had tripped and fell through the wall. I told her to let me talk to my wife, which she did very calmly. My wife told me the same thing she had told me and she was in great pain. Things weren't adding up in my head the more we talked. It took until the end of my shift, but I got the truth. Unbeknownst to me, my mother had marched upstairs and punched my wife in the face, pulled her hair, and pushed her through that wall while she had my one-year-old in her arms. She took my wife's phone captive so she couldn't call for help, which is why I couldn't reach her, and had threatened to hurt her worse if she told anyone. After confronting my mom about what she did, she started shoving me, telling me I wasn't going to do anything about it. I couldn't put my hands on my mom, so I walked away. We all grabbed what we could and left. We got my wife and son to the hospital where she got to speak to an officer. Pictures were taken of the bruising on my wife's face and body. Wow, we're really jumping in the first one. She had severe bruising to the jawbone and temple. My son is okay physically, but still hasn't been acting the same. We have the option to press charges, and I'm so torn. My mom was the only blood family member I have. I hate when people say that. We've been through so much together. I also hate when people say that.
Yeah.
Should I throw my mom in jail for this? She isn't the person I used to know anymore, but I'm going to be able to live with myself if I go through with these charges. I haven't been able to stop crying. The detective is going to call us anytime now, and this is the hardest thing I've ever been faced with.
He's waiting for the call. I just had to type this email.
He's like, hold on, let me just real quick.
That's him ringing. Let me finish this up.
I need the internet to tell me what to do. I don't know what to do, officer.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I can actually. It is, and you know, I have a similar relationship with my mom. It's pretty tumultuous. I've learned over time to just walk away. I don't speak anymore, and it's because of stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to be put in that position.
Yeah. Of
choosing between having to press charges on you or letting you be because you're my mother. So you have to be the sensible one and cut the ties.
Do you talk to her at all?
No, but like maybe through my kids. Like, hey, if you talk to your grandmother, because I don't force them to not have a relationship with her. Right. And as long as she's answering them or talking to them, I know she's alive. And that's really all that matters, because there's a thing there that they play on. This sounds like a person that has a narcissistic thing. She will play on poor health or anything as a reason to re-engage.
That's my grandma.
Yeah.
She's threatened or not threatened, but she's said that she's dying multiple times. And it's constantly to try to get you to feel bad for her and talk to her again, which I haven't in 15 years. She's a terrible person. She's not a good person. So I'm like, Grandma, this isn't going to work. It's not working. When you're like, she'll sometimes text me, you should be ashamed of yourself not talking to your grandmother like this. I'm like, you fucked your kid's boyfriend. So how about you don't go down that road?
That's a weird thing, that guilt trip of how you should be ashamed of yourself not talking to... What? Like, no. Where's the accountability for you?
Exactly.
You should be ashamed of yourself. And if we're not going to go there, let's just not go there. But here's an interesting thing. Maybe I do have something for this, because I was just reading this book. It's called Disasters in the First World,
I love that you have a screenshot of this. You're like, I gotta take a picture of this
because
passage.
This shit meant so much to me. Listen to this.
That.
You might love this too.
Okay.
This is how you love your mother. You resent her. You lightly scold her when you believe she's comically quaint or false. Her tasks and complaints you must look after. Similarities between you should flatter and frustrate. You must never admire her without wishing to be unlike her. And you must hate when someone else loves her.
Whoa.
Right?
That's intense.
Isn't that wild?
What is that book?
It's called Disasters in the First World, and it's actually just about that, about these types of things they were talking about, these weird
family
first
dynamics.
world problems that happen because as people, we don't have any natural predators or a reason to
We're too
really...
comfortable.
Correct. So now these are our disasters.
Yep.
Not famine, not, you know what I mean? Not natural disasters, not volcanic eruptions or glaciers or anything. These are our disasters.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so true. Same thing with like depression and anxiety. Although I'm sure those things exist in cultures or worlds where they do have those kinds of things to worry about, but they associate it with, hey, we might die. So it's a rational type of thing. Now we have too much time to sit around. We have time to be depressed. We have time to be anxious.
Correct.
And all of these different things. Yeah, that's so interesting.
Now,
and family dynamics.
And yeah, so this is already a situation of this. She's threatened. She's threatened by your wife. Your wife takes precedent of care. I watched that with my mom. I took care of my dad when my dad got sick. They weren't together. My dad wasn't around. He wasn't really in my life since I was 2. As I got older, I found out my mom had a lot to do with that. But
as you get older, you're like, oh, it really wasn't my fault. It was my mom's fault.
Right. So, but you know what I mean? Like as watching like what my mom evolved into throughout that time, you just kind of develop some empathy and you understand like, okay, I got to get away from this. But that's the threat. Excuse me. I got detracted. Me taking care of my father, my mom was jealous of that.
Okay, I see. She was mad because you were giving your attention and love to him instead of her, and they're not together anymore.
Dying. He was dying of Alzheimer's.
Jesus.
But to her, it just looked at, and I think the thing was, you know, she wonders whether I would do the same for her.
Ah.
And the sad part is she made it so that I won't.
Well, yeah, because of her actions.
Correct.
That's, you know, and I feel like people towards older age start to realize that when they realize that Nick has a similar thing with his father. His father is just a garbage human, super abusive, physically, emotionally, the whole thing. He's just trash. And he doesn't have a very good relationship with anyone. So he's realizing that as he gets older and he's freaking out and trying to keep his other 2 kids close to him because he's like, oh no, they're going to leave me and I'm going to have no one.
Yeah. And you're going to be
but it's because of you.
With the hard part. And that's the interesting thing I'm learning now about energy, your vibrations, and what you manifest. Mm-hmm. They sit around and they think about that kind of stuff all day long and they end up manifesting it.
Yep.
Their biggest fears, they're creating. You happen to be caught up in her nightmare, but you're not doing anything. That's her nightmare, and she's in hell. That's the interesting thing I'm learning about life. That's the beauty of hell, though, is you got to go through hell to get to heaven. You got to go through the fire to get up in the clouds. So you can rest easy knowing that when she passes, boom, she's free of that conviction. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of death. Why you don't need to be sad when somebody dies. Like they're free.
They're free, yeah.
They're free of all that.
Well, that's the thing. Death isn't sad for the people who have died. They're sad for everybody else because you miss them.
Right.
They're fine. They don't know.
Right.
They're just all of the pain, all the anger, all of that is just gone. It's just like this sweet release sort of. But you're the one. It's really when you're mourning death, it's kind of selfish in a way because
you want that person to stay here and suffer so that you can. Every now and again, check in. Be
like, hey, how you been, Ma?
Where's Christmas gonna be without you? Yeah, what am I supposed to do the other 364 days?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you. God damn. Yeah, no, it's true. When someone's sick or like even suicide is sort of one of those things. But it's weird because usually when people kill themselves, it's because they are in a lot of pain. But often it's something that if they had lived through it, like they typically regret trying to kill themselves. Like you hear people that survive suicide. Yeah. Like people that jump from the bridge and then realize halfway down that their problems weren't as bad as they thought. Like the ones that live, they interview them and they're like, I don't know why I did that. I wish I hadn't done that. So it is interesting. It's like I love how that's illegal too. They're like, hey, you can't kill yourself. That's illegal. But who are you gonna? The person's
they
dead.
Just don't want. They don't want to deal with the problem of having to clean it up, man. That's that. I remember I used to ride motorcycles. I had a cop tell me that.
Really?
I get it. It's a fast bike. I'm like, I don't even want to ticket you, but I don't want to scrape you up off the sidewalk tonight.
Holy shit.
Go do it on someone else's shift. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's so true. I didn't even think about that. They have to see that day in and day out.
And they're not right behind that shit. Yeah, man. Yeah.
What made you stop riding? Or do you still ride?
No, I gave a lot of it up, man. Like my head still kind of when bikes go by, but it was a death mission. That was me being suicidal. That was the interesting thing. I learned that in my journey also, that riding bikes the way I was suicidal. I just wasn't.
Right.
We find in the hood, we find cooler ways to kill ourselves.
That is a way cooler way. And you, as what are they called? The paramedics or doctors call people who ride motorcycles
organ donors.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. We just lectured Nick's friend about it because he has like 3 kids and a motorcycle, and we're like, come on, man.
Yeah, man.
But you can't make someone.
No, because some people need, like me coming off of it. I knew I needed it. I just felt it. I had been down a few times. I buried a lot of people, and I was not having fun anymore because I didn't want to grow attached to new riders that were showing up on the scene.
Because you lose them.
Correct. I don't want to get attached to you. I don't want to know you. So now I'm just a grumpy older rider on the set, talking shit to young riders, making them feel small and keeping them away from me because I don't want
to deal with the pain of losing them.
And
yeah.
now I'm just a grumpy old man that don't want to race no more. And you got to check yourself. When you become that person, check yourself. Figure out what it is. Most of the time, it's you.
It's you, yes. Yeah. That's so much, same thing of like, we're off topic a little bit, but it's the same thing that I see all the time of like, girls and guys do it too, where they constantly complain, I can never find a good guy, every guy I date is so terrible, or like, every girl's a hoe, and you go through that whole, they just constantly complain, they find other things to blame. It's hookup culture's problem, it's hookup culture's fault, and more often than not, the problem is them.
Yeah.
Like if you keep saying that everyone's terrible and you can't find a good person, the problem is most likely you.
You're on negative the minute you come out the crib and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
They talk about that shit. Whatever your vibration is, that's what you're tuned into.
Yep. And there are great people everywhere. Of course, you got to go through some shitty people to meet them.
Right.
But they're still there. There's no shortage of people who are happy to be in a monogamous relationship or whatever the thing is.
This is the funny thing that and this isn't mine, but someone taught me this and I pointed it and I've noticed it. Have you ever noticed if you're feeling like ornery, if you're just in a mood, you don't have any problem finding other people like that throughout the day?
Yep. Suddenly everybody's got an issue.
Yeah.
What the fuck's that guy's problem?
Argue and fight with anybody because that's the channel you're on. That's the frequency you came out the house on.
Yep.
Now, if you get your frequency right, where you're on a channel with this positivity and all this other, surprisingly, you come out the house and you start running into the same people that are on that frequency.
Yep.
So that's the interesting thing that,
And if you do run into someone who's maybe on their shitty frequency, it rolls off of you so much easier.
You don't even notice.
No, it's just like, you're just like, oh, whatever. I try, when I'm having bad days like that, sometimes I just got to tell myself, like the other day Wednesday was a terrible day and I was in just a shit ass mood. I was cranky. I was hungry all day. I was trying to get money out my sister's phone card so I could talk to her because it was her birthday. She's in jail. I was like, I want to be able to say hi to and it just wasn't working, and it wasn't my bank, and it wasn't the vendor. They both were like, I don't know what's going on. But it kept getting declined, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just done. Nick is like trying to talk to me. He's like, hey, did you do this thing? And I'm like, don't even say anything to me. I can't even deal with this right now.
Yeah.
And so you get towards the end of the day, and I'm like, you know what? Just stop. And that's the point where I just like, I go in the room and I put TV on, I shut the door. I'm like, I'm just going to be by myself for a little while.
You know what I learned fixes that? It's crazy. I'm 39 and I'm just now getting in touch with this again.
It takes fucking forever.
Naps.
Naps are the best.
Naps fix that.
Yes, they do. I love naps.
When a baby used to get, all right.
You need. Yep.
Adults don't do that.
No, and we should. We should have nap time at work. They should have a fucking hour of nap time.
Someone
People would be more productive.
or just the minute someone sees you, all right, come here. Come, just security at your job just lays you down for a nap.
Tucks you in.
Because you fucking need it right now, you idiot. Like,
you're not thinking clearly, you dumbass. Back to this lady here, or this guy. My advice to you is press charges on your mom this one time. So, because I don't think if you let it go, she's never going to learn. But I also think you need to cut ties, and I just wouldn't talk to her for a while. until she apologized. But here's the thing.
Those people don't apologize.
They don't. And it's hard to accept an apology with physical violence. This isn't like she just blew up on you.
Right. And you're not doing this for the, well, excuse me, I mean to argue with your advice, but I say you're not doing this for the apology.
No.
Don't worry about it, because that'll never come. And if you're expecting an apology, you're going to give yourself an aneurysm. That's
true. That is true. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's one of those things, I think you just need to walk away, but I still would press charges. She needs to know there's consequences to her actions. That's my thought. Like, fuck you. You don't get to just do whatever you want and think nothing's going to happen.
If you do press charges, she'll eventually ask you for an apology and you can hold off.
Yeah, there you go.
Go, well, I'll apologize when you apologize, you know, and then
that's when her the aneurysm.
That's when other family gets involved.
Die. Ha ha ha. Oh, yeah, well, if that's the only blood family he's got.
Oh, yeah.
I would say just fuck her.
Yeah, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
no one even knows.
No, you got you for wife and your son. That's your new family. Fuck her. She sounds like a bitch. Ooh, okay. I feel like this is a more fun one. Moving on. Next question. I'm a 21-year-old male, and she looks like she's my age, maybe a year or two older, and she's a bit shorter than me. I've never talked to her. I see her 2 to 3 times a month. We both wear headphones all the time. Our gym is kind of big, but we often work out next to each other. I find her extremely cute and attractive, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea to ask her on a date because things can go wrong, and that's the only good gym we have in our city. I'm a picky guy, so it's really rare that I find someone attractive, and I hate it when I don't do anything. But I'm not sure if I should do anything. Should I? And if so, how should I do it? Is that appropriate to talk to girls, try to hit on girls in the gym?
Ah, man. Nah, it doesn't work.
Have you tried before?
I have, and I was very polite about it. It still just comes across as creepy.
It's hard, right? It's hard to do it in a way where you're not being like, hey, I've noticed you around the gym.
Well, even I felt like I had a legitimate in. This girl was like setting up her camera, trying to film herself. And I was just like, hey, I can film that for you if you want. And she was like, no, you're good. And I was like, ooh,
no.
Wow, okay.
Oh, that hurts. Yeah, that was, and you're trying to be nice. You're like, okay, I've got it in. I'm doing a nice thing for
right,
her.
Like, because I didn't say anything creepy for, months, you know what I mean? And then like, okay, this one time because you legitimately needed help, you know what I mean? Like I never tried to come in with your form or do all that creepy shit. Yeah,
don't ever do that. Girls hate that.
Yeah.
Ugh. I had a guy do that to me once and I was like, dude, I'm good. Please get away from me.
Yeah.
Especially because I know my form is fine. Because I've been in the gym since I was 13. My dad's a bodybuilder. Like, I legitimately know what I'm doing there. So I know if you're coming up to me and being like, hey, your form, you're trying to talk to me. So get the fuck away.
Yeah.
That's like I have a really, really long history with lifting weights. Like, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah. And plus, like you said, it could go wrong. It will go wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think, can two gym rats really...
I don't know. See, that's the funny thing. I love working out and I love the gym. I think just because I've been in it for so long. But Nick doesn't. He hates it.
Yeah.
And it does kind of work because in a way when I go to the gym, it's my me time.
It's your space.
Yeah,
right.
It's my space. I listen to my music. Nobody talks to me.
Right. Even like with those kind of onlookers and anything like that, they're not witnessing any of that. Like, you know what I mean? It's yeah, it will go bad. It will go bad, and you don't want to know them that way.
No.
Do not ruin the impression of everybody in the gym by getting to know them.
Just keep it as she's a hot stranger. In your head, she's amazing, but if you meet her, you could find out she's a piece of shit.
She is a piece of shit. That's why she's at the gym. She's dealing with her demons just like you.
I mean, yeah. It's just instead of drinking ourselves fucking silly, we go to the gym.
Right.
It's just one way or the other. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I feel like it's hard to hit on someone at the gym.
Yeah.
It is. It's really hard.
It's like hitting on someone at therapy or like at NA, like, you know.
Yeah. Oh, no, NA. I feel like that just brings me right back to, have you seen Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Everybody that Jesse meets at AA or NA or whatever he's in is a disaster. The relationship is always a disaster.
Yeah. Addicts dating together is always a disaster.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Like two gym addicts. I don't know. And I am going to say you're an addict. If you're there enough to notice someone else.
You're an addict?
Constantly. Yeah. You develop. Because that's where those kind of crushes start. You got to see each other for a while.
Yeah. So you're there all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're seeing the other person, that means you're on the same gym schedule, which means if it doesn't go well, then you have to either change your gym schedule or find another gym.
Yeah.
And that's going to suck. So yeah, just leave it alone. She's cute. I mean, I would say the most you can do is if you catch eyes, try smiling at her and see if she talks to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best. That's like, I feel like the best thing, the safest thing, because it's not weird to smile at someone who looks at you. That's not like a weird thing. You could smile and maybe give a little wave. And if she engages, then be like, okay.
Yeah.
There's an in.
Yeah, I think as I get older, that'd be my strategy.
Right.
Yeah, and hope that she has, like, just hope to engage her as a friend.
Yes, that works.
I'll take you on as a friend, especially like if I meet someone at the gym and they end up having a boyfriend, and we're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because now I can deal with you're still attractive to me, and I only know you like that much.
Yeah, small talk.
I mean? Right.
And the capacity of like, hey, what's up? How's blah, blah, blah,
Or
whatever.
like even if we become friends. You know what I mean? It's just I don't have to know you like that.
Yep.
I'm a firm believer like this, and this sounds like it's not anti-marriage, but I hate like one night stands seem to me better than relationships.
They usually are.
Just because that person is now just an image. They're just something in your head that you, that person was probably cool as shit.
Yeah, no, because they are cool as shit. You hang out for one night, you're like, oh, this person's awesome. Then when you get to know them and you spend time together, all those little things that you think are cute, you fucking start to hate.
Yeah.
All their little idiosyncrasies that you find out, and you're like, oh my fucking God. Because no person's perfect. No person's ever going to be perfect. There's no magical relationship that's going to be amazing. And you think that it's going to be fucking sunshine and roses for the rest of your life, because that's just not the way it works, because humans are not fucking perfect.
Or as you think, it's going to be all protein shakes and
all protein shakes and dumbbells.
pre-workout.
Yeah. It's just not, it just isn't going to happen. You're going to find out eventually that there's some stuff about that person that you can't stand.
Yeah.
Even if you love them, there's going to be stuff about that person that you can't stand. So if you can't hack that, relationships are not for you,
like,
my friend.
I love now watching like my ex she's a gorgeous woman. She's a gorgeous woman. Can't take that away from her. But I do enjoy watching people get caught up in her world. Like people that just hit on her and they're like, is she with you, bro? Oh no.
No, go ahead. Oh no.
I mean, and it's not that she's a terrible person. It's just fun to watch. Like you go ahead and get to know her. You know what I mean?
Right,
get to know her. Like, yeah.
Sometimes it too depends on compatibility, because some people just aren't compatible. Sometimes you like think that it's, you know, gonna work out, and then you realize a couple years in, you're like, oh, we don't see eye to eye on anything. And we don't have it. I've dated guys where we just don't have anything in common, but for some reason we're still trying to make it work. And then you realize, like, I don't know, 6 months to a year in, and you're like, oh my God, we don't like doing anything together.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
The gym, meeting someone at the gym is going to make you stick it out longer.
Because you have that one thing in common?
You think you do. You have nothing in common. You have nothing in common. They're hot. That's it. And if you pick a chick based off of that, you're setting yourself up for failure. I know this sounds so after school special. Like, dude, because there's nothing worse than meeting a hot chick, going all out to get the hot chick, and then finding out mentally she's something different.
Yeah, which happens a lot.
Right, and which
Same thing with dudes.
Right, exactly. So now
dudes.
you're making excuses to keep this hot person around.
Yep.
And that's what keeps you there longer than you should be, because they're like, well, they were hot. My friends seem to like her. They don't like her. She's hot.
She's hot. What I mean? They like having your hot girlfriend around. They just want to look at her, buddy. I think we were talking to one of Nick's friends who she recently had a baby with this dude, and like their relationship is not great. But she was talking about it. I forget what we were even talking about, how we got on the conversation. We were walking around Brooklyn and hanging out, and she's like, look, make sure you find somebody that you actually like being around, because the sex and all that stuff is going to go away.
Yeah.
She's like, that doesn't last forever. It's not going to be the same. So find somebody that you like doing stuff with.
Absolutely.
That is literally the most important part, because no matter how hot they are, you are going to get tired of fucking them.
Yeah.
You just are. Like, it's going to get to that point. How long have you been with your girlfriend?
This one, we're coming up on like 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years. Yeah. That's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
That's enough time to really get to know somebody and be like, okay, you know whether or not it's working.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially because, like, and I'm sure it's the same for her, she's not anything of what I thought she was going to be. You know what I mean? You're just unraveling and getting down to the real you, and you go like, huh, interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah. You keep peeling, and hopefully you like what you keep peeling down here too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah.
And I mean, I've met her. She's fucking beautiful. So like, you got lucky on that front too.
Yeah,
I mean, not got lucky, like you're great, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely. But I am definitely in the stage in my life that I will date an ugly chick if she's interesting.
If she's interesting and cool, I don't care what you look like. No, it's the same. I say that to guys all the time. These guys will, and I think it's just because of what I do, like on Twitch and OnlyFans. I will have guys ask me for advice about it. They're like, how do I get a girl that I like and all these things? I'm like, it's really just being awesome. Just be awesome and be interesting. And if you find a girl, like, because there will be girls who don't give a shit about what you look like. And they just want to be with someone who treats them great and who's cool to be around.
And the best way to do that, fellas, is just be cool with chicks.
Yeah.
Like, if you're cool with chicks that you're not trying to fuck and they're just always around you, this is the weird thing about girls. Girls, I think we talked about this on another podcast that I was on with you. Girls hate other girls so much that just by girls being around you, they're going to want to know what is the deal with you. If you make this girl feel happy, then what do I need to find out about you to make this girl unhappy?
How can I get in on this chick's territory? Because I fucking hate her. How dare she has guy friends?
Right.
She thinks she's so cool. Well, that and like, if you're just cool and you're around and you have girls that you're not trying to be, you know what's so hilarious? Oh my God. The more that I talk about this with guys too, the more I'm realizing. So my sister's baby daddy called me the other night. Kamau, I love him. He's just like one of the sweetest men ever. And he's raising my niece and he's the best. And I love my niece so much. But he called me one night, the other morning. It was like 9:40 here. So it was like 3:40 in Hawaii. Okay. And he calls me and he's like, hey, Xia? I'm like, is this Kamau? I'm just outing his name. Sorry, Kamau. He listens. And I'm like, are you drunk? He's like, yeah, so I'm getting like a 3-4, but it was great because I hadn't talked to him in so long, and we were talking about it. And he's dating this new girl. I was like, is she local or is she a Haole girl? She's a Haole girl from Texas. So I was like, all right.
Hold on, what does Haole mean?
Haole is basically, it could be white or foreigner. It can be used to mean.
But that's just what y'all say when people are not from the island.
Yeah, okay. Haole. They call me Haole too because I'm white, but I'm like local Haole because I was born there.
Gotcha.
And I have Hawaiian family and stuff. But he's talking. He shows me a picture of her. I was like, oh, she's really pretty, Kamau. And he said that his friends were like, hey, how come Kamau? How do you always pull these really beautiful girls? Because he was with my sister. My sister's really beautiful. She's nuts. She's beautiful. They're like, how do you keep pulling all these girls? And he's like, it's because I'm not, he straight up said it. He's like, because I'm not trying to fuck them. Yeah. He's like, that's why. He was like, because you guys always are just constantly trying to fuck girls. And of course, girls are going to be turned off by that gross desperation of that guy's just like wanting, like, they only want you for one thing. And girls can tell. We're not stupid. We know that. So like, he's like, it's just because I'm not trying to fuck the girls all the time. And then they come to you. And that's how Nick got me. And that's how he's probably gotten every other girl he's been with. Because he's a smooth motherfucker. And guess who made the first move? I did.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
It works. I'm telling you, if you don't act so desperate and you don't act like you want it and you're just there and you're cool, it will happen for you.
Yeah, that's the energy you got to put out there.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what I do. You know, I fuck very well, but it's no one's business. You know, what do you guys want to talk about? You know,
you heard it here first, ladies.
But that's the funny. No, I was have to say that's your energy you got to put out.
Right.
But that's the funny thing that they go. Yeah, if like, especially because if you're talking to a chick and like you go through like 5 or 6 topics. And like sex or any kind of jokes haven't come up trying to put sex. You watch the women almost kind of go, they start searching for signs to see if you're gay or not.
Yes.
And it's like,
is this guy asexual?
Right.
I don't understand.
And if you're not, like, most women will chalk it up as gay, but when they see more women around you, that's when they get really confused. What is it? What? And then they start asking other girls, and everyone's just like, oh, he's just so cool. He's just so cool. He's just so cool.
Yep.
Now, before you know it, you're an enigma.
You're an enigma, and you got hot girls that are into you, or cool girls that are into you. Whatever you're looking into, or looking for rather. Moving on. Oh God, this one's fun. Holy crap. Okay, I've never heard this before. I'm a 17-year-old male. I've posted here before, so I thought life was getting better. I talked to this girl for 8 months and I liked her, but she had a boyfriend. Well, a month ago, she broke up with him and started talking to me more frequently. Oh, he played the long game and it worked. We snuck out and hung out at a park and made out. We decided to date. We hang out 3 times, then she brings up the topic of sex. I was blinded on how early due to liking her for so long and being a horny teen. We go to her place when she was home alone, and you can probably guess what happened. First problem, she got condoms that were too small, making it uncomfortable, and 2 of the 3 broke. And the last was too small, making it, oh God. And then the last one ran out of lube. Sorry, I'm like reading that all fucked up. Second, we went on for an hour and a half and I never finished due to the condoms. Third, she fucking left me a text saying she's getting with her ex again the next day. I lost my virginity as revenge sex. At least she enjoyed it because she stained the sheets. I sent a single text after she told me that and was like, fuck you, before I blocked her. Yes, I know I overreacted and I want to apologize, but Jesus Christ, I need advice. I read that terribly. Did you understand what I was saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes the writing is really bad and I'm like,
yeah. Well, he's 17 and he's freaking out. And he's never been used before. Come on.
Oh, it's his first time getting used.
You're going to get used a lot.
So the title is I Lost My Virginity and I Highly Regret It.
Okay. I can't take the validity of you saying you regret it away.
Right.
I mean, you got to have sex with a chick that you've liked before she got fat. Like, it's going to happen. If she's bouncing around from dude to dude like this already, this chick is going to be and you got 4 years tops.
How many kids do you think she's going to have too?
Yeah, maybe 2. That's maybe about 2. Average. But okay. I'm just saying, like, I've been 17. I remember these girls. I remember being used as revenge sex for a girl that I liked, and I wouldn't want anything to do with this girl now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something like, and I remember at 17 wanting to be like, oh, I would marry you. I would build a house. You know what I mean? Like,
because you're so stupid when you're young. Well, you don't know. You just have all these emotions.
And they're valid.
Of course.
You're not tainted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you haven't had all of the great love stories that you've ever heard. They were young and not tainted by false experiences of love. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's like one of those, like, this is a cover-up tattoo of a girl that I thought I was going to love when I was 18 years old. 18 years old.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me we weren't going to
be together forever.
Right.
You weren't going to have kids. You weren't going to be the ones that are when you're 75. We've been married for 60 years.
Yeah. Aww. And I don't mean this to sound sexist. Yeah, I love you. I love ladies. But fellas, for what we want the ladies for, it doesn't get better as time goes on. You got her at 17 years old when it was like, you're like, come on, dude. Like, you don't want 50-year-old her. You don't. You don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Enjoy it now. Enjoy it.
Put it in the spank bank and enjoy watching social media tear up your spank bank as the years go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, no, you're absolutely right.
I hate to sound like a pig, but
No. It's unfortunate. Women, I mean, we're aging better because we have better science and stuff, but typically women age way better, way worse than men. That's typically how it goes. Not always, but usually.
It's not even on the aging thing. I mean, just nothing. It doesn't get better. Nothing gets better, even on a man.
No, that's true. You don't want his saggy balls and his fucking wrinkly ass skin. Yeah. None of it's good. Yeah. No, you get old and it sucks. It's getting old is not attractive. That's why only the rich guys have hot wives.
I also love how all of the great love stories, like even Titanic was a great love story, but she's only reflecting on this teenage fling that she had. Yeah. Everyone else
He's young and hot.
Yeah. Everyone who went through the ringer of a few decades, they're like, get rid of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's absolutely true. Look, I think that I'm sorry that you regret it. That sucks. The only thing I can say is that time is going to make this better. That's all it is. You're going to feel shitty for a while, but eventually you won't feel shitty anymore, and you'll find somebody that you like, and it won't be as crappy of an experience.
And you'll experience vagina without a condom, and you'll go, who?
Exactly. Exactly. A too small condom. What a humble brag this guy's got. He's like, oh man, it sucked because the condoms were too
Didn't fit
small.
on my 17-year-old horse cock.
He was really like, yeah, my dick is giant. I mean, yeah, that sucks. Also, I don't think you overreacted. Don't apologize. Say fuck you and block her. Who cares? Just get out of your life. Like Dave said, you're not going to want her later. She's probably going to get fat and she's going to have a bunch of kids. Just let her go off and be with her ex. She'll learn, It'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Moving on. Oh. Whenever my this one's super weird. This really caught me off guard. It's a short one. Whenever my family friends have come over recently, they've secretly put garden gnomes in our yard. One is peeing. The other is the toilet scrolling through his phone. What is a good way to get back at them for the gnomes?
Oh. You know what? Yeah, I would definitely. Can you blind ship things from Amazon?
I think you can.
Yeah. So
they also have glitter bombs and bags of dicks gummy candy bags of dicks that you can send. Yeah. Like those are two things that you can send. I think you can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that. Like send something from, because everyone gets so excited when they get an Amazon purchase.
Especially when it's a surprise. You don't know what it is. You're like, ooh, from Amazon.
Right.
This can't be too nefarious.
And then it's just gonna be something stupid and perverted. Although, what would fuck you up if you opened it by yourself? Because that's the thing. It's one thing if they open it and there's people around and it's embarrassing because it's like dicks or dildos. But
glitter bomb.
A glitter bomb?
Glitter bomb. Can you imagine glitter all over your freaking house? You open it, you're covered in glitter. It's everywhere.
That's
it's going to be there
forever. That's OD for some gnomes.
You think that's all overboard?
Yeah.
You're like,
we don't want to make a mess. Because glitter bomb, that's a fight. Like, I remember once being at a concert, a Meek Mill concert, and the concert, we were backstage, but the concert was going on too long. So, like, this is in Philly, like, where like they need to turn it back to hockey so that the Flyers can play tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
And, like, it's all of the construction workers start showing up in the rafters, and they're all kind of hanging out, waiting for the concert to end. And Meek Mill goes out, and he performs his signature closer. Yo, no, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? And you see all of this confetti start shooting all of the stage.
Oh, no.
And these guys just started slamming their helmets. They're like, oh, dude. Like, they just knew they're going to be here all night long cleaning up all of that confetti.
You don't think about that. New Year's, all the shit that when they in Times Square, when they do that and they have the confetti raining down everywhere, somebody's got to clean that shit up.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And I was with the guys as they realized, oh, this is not going to be a 7-hour night. Okay.
That sucks so much. You know what? Confetti would be a good one because it's not as bad as glitter, but it's still a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You could send them a little like confetti bomb of some kind.
Oh, no. You know what? You can send them, what is that thing called? Those fruit that they cut up to make it look like flowers.
Durian?
Edible arrangements.
Oh, edible arrangements.
Here's why. Because you can't throw it away, but you can't eat all that fruit.
So you just have rotten fruit.
And they just get flies all in the kitchen. I swear to God, no one can eat an entire... You can't have enough company to get rid of an edible arrangement fast enough before it arrives.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience. So you've gotten an edible arrangement.
Someone sent an edible arrangement, and it's brutal. It's a lot of fruit.
And fruit goes bad fast.
Yeah.
It does. That's true.
But it's so pretty, you don't want to throw it away. And you're trying to figure out ways to like not discard this fruit, and it ends up being an inconvenience.
Okay, all right, that's a good one. I like that. Send a bunch of edible arrangements, and they're just like, "What the fuck am I going to do with all this fruit?" Slowly but surely, it's rotting in their kitchen.
And it looks like a sweet thing. I was just thinking of you, you motherfucker.
It's not as good as like a mini muffin basket. Oh, I love mini muffins. All right, that's a good one. I like that. Moving on. This one is a long one. I feel like we've given pretty good advice so far.
Yeah.
Gotten into some deep life talks.
Sure.
I like this. Yeah. All right. So my boyfriend and I have been dating for about 16 months now, and he just figured out that my ex-boyfriend was black. Okay. I never told him about my ex before because, first of all, I don't like to talk about my ex to my current boyfriend.
That's
Who
not
does?
True. Go ahead. I'm fucking with you.
This girl is very mature. And secondly, I didn't think it would matter that I dated a black guy before, but apparently this is a big deal for him. A very big deal. Oh, boy. So we were like chilling / snuggling on the couch, and we were talking about our past and our exes and stuff. Well, he said he was curious about what my ex looked like. So I ended up showing him a picture of me and my ex together. The moment afterwards was very awkward. He was uncomfortably silent for a minute or two while he went to the bathroom for a couple of minutes. He then came back and first asked if it was a joke about my black ex. I said, no, why would I be joking about this? He said, why would you date a black guy? Jesus Christ, so you're dating a racist guy now. We dated for about 2 years. I said, because I loved him. He said, a black guy, really? What the fuck is wrong with you? Would you have had children with him if you wanted to? I didn't know what to say, actually. I was just really shocked about how he reacted to this. I said, what does it matter? Without saying anything more, he took his keys and stuff and went outside to his car. The next day he came back, he started talking to me and said, in his words, while a part of him still loves me very much, the other part is disgusted by me. I told him, why does it matter that I dated a black guy? We're all just people. I asked him if he was insecure about something, but that only made him angrier. He's angry because he knows he's got a bigger dick than you, and he's pissed about it. Now that we're shouting at each other, and he pushed me on the ground, I saw on his face that he was shocked about what he just did, and he took his stuff and went off. I haven't seen him since. He was always such a kind and sweet guy, never said anything racist or anything. He is also religious and very conservative / traditional minded. But what he did there and the things he said, I can never forgive / forget. But I am pregnant now, 5 weeks, and I have no idea what to do. I'm stuck. I haven't told anyone this, only here till now. If I wasn't pregnant, I would probably leave him. But I am, and stopping the pregnancy is not an option for me. I'm not such a person that would do that. I could never live with the fact that I ended my child's in the making's life. I'm thinking about maybe trying to get back together with him, although he did things that are unforgivable, but the 16 months we have been together, I had the best time of my life with him. He is a really special, fun, smart, kind person with good morals up until last week. I feel like all of what he did is contradicting the things you're saying about him. You guys probably would not understand. Like, she's like, he's great. But he's literally disgusted that you dated a black guy, which is insane. I'm pretty sure she was
rubbing her tummy as she wrote those words. But he's so sweet.
But he's so lovely.
That's the emotional roller coaster of being pregnant. He's so sweet.
I remember all the good times. Oh, my God. You guys probably would not understand, but I know him unlike anyone else. I believe he's a good person in his heart. I beg to fucking differ. But if I would break up with him, given that's not the case yet, he would very likely want to be a father for my child. Given his beliefs, he would probably never abandon his own children. He always used to hint to me that he really wanted children with me, and I don't want to raise my own child part-time. Even thinking about this makes me depressed. Has anyone else any suggestions on what to do? Anything is welcome, please. Good Lord, woman. Jesus Christ. Your boyfriend's an insane racist.
See what happens when you meet people at the gym?
Never should have talked to that guy.
No, although I think it's hilarious where he goes, part of me sees nothing wrong with it, but part of me does. That just sounds like the parents.
Yeah.
Like the mom, she's totally like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that kind of thing. But your father, yeah, he's you know what I mean?
He doesn't like those people.
Right.
And you're like.
And so for him, it's how can I bring this home to my dad? How, like, I love you and I really don't care, but my hero cares.
Do you think he's really, because he said part of me is disgusted by you. Do you think he's really disgusted, or is it because he really is worried?
It's a visceral reaction. It's a fear. That's out of fear. I'm just learning this now, too. You don't realize how many guys date chicks to impress other dudes.
Really?
Lot of guys.
Interesting. Okay.
So
this is new to me too.
Yeah, this is like you can't when it. Yeah, that's why like a lot of dudes will tell you how annoying their girl is and stuff like that, and it's like, well, why are you with her?
Right.
Which is, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, my friends think she's cool. You know, if your friends say, yeah, I like her for you, but that's the thing that'll make a guy go, oh, well, my friends are going to make fun of me for this. Or my dad will make fun of me. My brothers will make fun of me for this. It sounded almost like the whole Donald Sterling thing all over again. That was Donald Sterling's whole thing.
Wait, what was his whole thing? I feel like I don't know about this. No.
Donald Sterling was the owner of the Clippers. He had to sell the Clippers because he got recorded saying racist things.
Oh, yes.
To his side chick.
I do remember that.
His side chick recorded him just saying, hey, look, I don't care what you do. Just don't bring them to my games. And it's an awful racist thing to say, but for him, it's because the other guys see you and they laugh at me. I'm a 68-year-old billionaire, but my boy's opinion is going to affect me on the side chicks that I keep around.
Right. So
I'm a full married man with a guma on the side.
Wow.
But if they see you pulling up to my game with black dudes, they're going to laugh at me.
Right. So he's not worried about necessarily the thing happening. He's worried about what other people think about it.
That's what Donald Sterling was saying on that tape. I don't care. You can do whatever you want, just not publicly where my friends can see it.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. What a weird concept. That's what I feel like.
Because your friends, that's your circle of influence, especially for men. Especially for men. Men, we want to be around other men who have social influence, the same thing that we have are the characteristics that we value.
Yeah.
And some men are comfortable being in that circle, just being who they are. Mm-hmm. And then some men, they feel like, hey, there are things that validate you to get here. You know what I mean? So if anything of the people that they look up to, when those guys talk, oh yeah, I want a bra with big tits and you don't even know if you like tits.
You just because
everyone
that's
that
what
you
they
look
like.
up to likes tits, and you're like, yeah, I want a big fucking tit, right? And then we, as boys, we learn to deal with that kind of rejection. Where like if a girl walks by, you go, hey baby, how you doing? Hey, I ain't got time. Yeah, whatever. Her tits are too small anyway. I like good big tits.
Right.
Again, you start teaching. Oh, okay, yes. So fuck her because her tits wasn't big enough. Yeah, and
you see that same sort of thing, but obviously a different level of it online. You see a lot of that stuff online. The way guys talk to women online, with the way they comment on pictures, being like, she's not even that attractive. I see it happen to women who are beautiful.
Yeah.
And these guys go in, they're like, she's not even that hot. And you're like, no, she's really hot.
Right.
You guys are, I think it's like they don't want to be rejected.
Right.
So they're rejecting them before they even get rejected.
So now imagine, and this is a fucked up game how guys play. You bring your girlfriend around, and now the word is out. Yo, this girl's feeling a black guy, and then they're fucking around. He's like, yo, come on, dude, stop. He's not secure enough to own that.
Right.
To be like, yo, chill. Like, first of all, not even secure enough. Keep your fucking mouth shut. It's really none of their business. But he knows who he is.
Yeah.
He knows he probably went out and called someone as soon as he got in the car. You're not gonna believe this. Oh my God, dude. It's like, yeah, take 24 hours, think about it. But you done already called your dad, your brother, everybody, you know what I mean?
She's dating a black guy.
Right.
What am I going to do?
Oh, well, this would be an interesting thing now that she's pregnant, and you know what I mean? So she got to call, because she's going to go back to him.
Yeah,
she's going
she
to.
is.
She's
You're
absolutely going to go
right.
back to him. So he's going to have to learn how to get past that.
But the thing is, he's either going to learn how to get past it or he's not, and it's going to ruin their relationship dynamic as long as they're together.
No, I think.
You don't think so?
No, I think he'll figure out how to do the thing. Those people that he looks up to that have him thinking that way, they'll do something over time that'll disgust him. That'll be like, holy shit, like.
Those are the people that I look up to. These are the people that I care what they think about me.
A lot of men in that environment go through that. I've gone through it. You hear a lot of men. You grow up and you realize, like, wait, this code that we were following, you don't even really believe that, or like, oh, this code is actually kind of disgusting. Did we think about this, or were we just, all right, whatever? I
noticed that a lot too. Young guys or guys that haven't changed or grown a lot will get mad at their favorite comedians or favorite actors or whatever it is who change over time. They're like, oh, you got soft. And it's like, because typically as you get older, it's not really necessarily about getting soft. You look back on soft and you're like, oh shit, that was fucked up. Or like, I've changed my view on this because you live life and you're like,
even now, I am 39 years old. I justify my growth to my homies back home or anyone from my previous life. Like, yeah, I'm totally gay now. And that's how I proceed anything that I'm about to tell them is positive change in my life. Just to get ahead of it.
Just to be like, yeah, this is super gay, but I'm doing real great.
I laugh along with it. Like, all right, guys, you guys are going to hate this. I'm totally gay now. But, like, this is happening. You know what I mean? Like,
but I'm super healthy. I'm in this healthy relationship.
And they're all like, been knew you were gay. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Big homo. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's so funny. Just giant homosexual.
It's just the way you have to take it. Like, okay, but that is me knowing them and being comfortable. All right, bring on the jokes. Yeah,
right,
call me gay. Do whatever you want to do. Get it all out of your system. It's here. Though,
but knowing that you're in like a healthier place in life and you've made these growths like emotionally and in relationships. Yeah, no, it's true. That's so funny.
Yeah,
oh my
so
God.
He's young. He'll make the growth over time.
Hopefully. Not everyone does.
Yeah, do yourself a favor. Don't tell anybody else about this because it will make it hard for people to accept him back in your life.
You know what? That's actually really good advice because so much of the time, men do it too, but I feel like women are usually a little bit more guilty of this, is they shit talk the dudes when things are bad to all their friends. When they break up, they inevitably break up and then they break up and they talk about how awful they were and all these bad things that they did. And then when they inevitably get back together, the friends are always like, why are you getting back with this guy? And that will always be there of, now we don't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot. That's actually a really good point.
And for white guys, don't you kind of want your girl to have the black experience before you? That way she's not like thinking about it in your relationship or curious about it going down. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Like, she's already been there.
She's got it out of her system. You know what I mean? Like I've always felt like, I always laugh about this because like where I live in Bushwick, I feel like Bushwick there's two types of girls in Bushwick. There are the girls who are in it. Tattoos all on their arms, gauge their ears out.
Okay,
like
I see. So they're kind of hipstery, actually.
Yeah. They're
hipster
promiscuous. They do whatever they want to do. Then there's the girls who, just kind of wear dumb stuff like cowboy boots and Daisy Dukes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Not too many tattoos, nothing visible.
Okay.
And they kind of exclusively do like anal for their time in Bushwick.
Interesting.
And then they just kind of go back to Connecticut or Rhode Island where they came from. No one's the wiser, and they just marry someone that they knew from high school. But they got it all out of their system. That's
what I'm saying. So it's one of those things where I feel like someone commented this thing, and I haven't responded yet because I want to look into it first. Because they might be right, but I feel like it's the opposite. They commented on, because I was talking about, why do guys think it's so gross when a girl has slept with multiple partners? Like some guys get really grossed out by it. It's like this disgusting thing. Because one girl was writing in about how she'd slept with 30 guys and she was like 20 or something. And she was like, I didn't think I just enjoy having sex.
Yeah.
And she mentioned something and they were like, oh my God, that's disgusting. And I was like, what is it about guys that make them so turned off if a woman has slept with a lot of people? And this, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I read it and I was like, I haven't had time. I really want to look into it to find out if this is true. Because statistically, I guess girls who have had multiple partners are less happy in relationships and are more likely to cheat. And I just feel like that would be the opposite. Because like you said, you get it out of your system. You don't fuck just one guy and then marry the next guy. And then you're like, oh man, I didn't get to have any fun. I didn't get to sleep with any people. I didn't get to explore my sexuality. I didn't get to try out different guys. I didn't get to figure out what I liked.
Yeah.
And those would be the people that would cheat. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to look into it.
Yeah. And that sounds like, if I had to think of it, like it's primal as far, I know it is primal where, like you're a little bit blown away that somebody, like you as a man, you do kind of look at your woman as like, you're mine, you know what I mean?
It's an ownership thing a little bit.
But I think the other thing is there may be some insecurity of like, 30 dudes, like the same way this guy is like, well, what does your ex look like? What does your ex look like? Some guys are very preoccupied with where they rank. Like, some guys, very fascinating. They can dominate the world, but they need to dominate like their woman's world too.
Ah, okay.
So out of the 30, am I number one You know what I mean? Like, because everyone was terrible until you met me, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And 30 is hard to prove that. You know what I mean? And I think a woman who has had multiple partners, you know, because women are weird where women can settle. Women have this weird ability to just kind of go like, well, I'll just hang out here because the tide's kind of high out there. You know what I mean? But you know the difference if you had a bunch of different... And I've worried about that as a man. I've worried about, is the lifestyle that I provide enough? Versus she knows someone else who can do more. That's always the interesting thing.
Okay. So you're worried less about sex and more about the life that you can offer.
Yeah,
Okay.
to an extent. Yeah, that way, yeah.
All right. I see that. Well, that's the thing. It's this weird thing of like, and people blame online dating and again, hookup culture, that someone's always looking for the next best thing. There is always something better out there.
See, this is also, and I think this is, we also have like, the game has changed because the boys are different. The boys have all been raised by single women.
Yeah.
So they know all the tricks. They know how to play games. They're just as calculated, just as manipulative. So there's a different thing. There's a lot of women who even get involved in their sons' shit, you know.
I've heard about that.
Teaching them how to, no, this is what you, or you should do that. There's sisters that'll get involved, you know what I mean? So again, the turn that you're seeing of the way women are being mistreated by men, it's not by men. It's women who are
controlling
teaching
the men.
and controlling the man. Again, it's just girls hate girls.
They do. It's true.
Yeah.
Women are awful to each other.
Yeah.
It's this weird thing where we see, well, I guess it's not weird. It's probably biological, but I wish we've evolved past that. We should stop with that bullshit. Is you look at another woman and you immediately see her as competition.
Yeah.
For whatever it is, whether
Even
it's
if
getting ahead, a job,
right.
a
Even
boyfriend.
a mother looking at her son's wife or daughter as competition.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's weird.
It's
so
super weird.
That behavior that you're getting with the hookup culture is boys are being coached by older women in their lives.
Man, that's
Most
creepy.
of the men are gone. They'll tell you that. In the black community, ain't no men around. Everybody's dead or in jail or, you know, don't want to be around. The dads don't want to be around. Ain't nobody raising but women.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, geez. I have it's funny for me, I think, because, and I've typically, I have female friends and I love them. Like my best friend forever is obviously a woman, but I tend to gravitate a little bit more towards hanging out with guys. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's because the way I was raised, it was the opposite. I was raised by my dad because my mom died when I was young.
Okay.
So I was raised, I mean, geez, when I first met Nick or when I dated any guy, and I didn't think it was weird at all. And some guys do not like it. By the way, people being like, she's a pick-me girl. I'm like, trust me, plenty of guys want a real feminine girl, and they were not interested in what I was bringing to the table because I'm not very feminine at all, and I never have been. I've gotten more as time has gone on, but I think because I was raised by such an intense, like my dad was a bodybuilder and he played drums and like a rock band, and I grew up around this like really kind of crazy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I had such male influences, and even the female influences I had. My auntie Becky she helped raise me because my dad took off for a couple years. He moved to LA to pursue music, and I lived with her. I mean, she built her own furniture. Mm-hmm. She was a single mom. She fucking built her. So
now all of a sudden you're getting introduced to feelings, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, dads don't have feelings. We can't have feelings. I'm a father myself, and I've learned that even realizing watching the separation of me and my family and realizing how insensitive I was. It's just because I'm a fucking dude.
It's because you're a dude.
Yeah, I'm getting shit done. You know what I mean? Like all of that, you feel sad, or that I can't relate to that because men have to do it whether they feel like it or not. So we raise the kids the same way.
Yep.
Unfortunately, and I'm not trashing women, but women, they get to offer excuses. And it's usually because at the end of the day, someone wants to fuck them. So like, whatever excuse you're bringing to the table as a woman, it's going to work more than a guy. Like guys can't come up short. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. That's absolutely true. But yeah, no, it's you're right. And it's like this weird, my dad made fun of me mercilessly for having small boobs growing up, which you think is like weird, right? Like who would do that? But it's just, I grew up around so much of that's kind of what I'm used to.
And that's him you're my little buddy.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You're my buddy. This is how I love.
That's literally exactly what it was. He'd blow weed smoke in my face when I was like 14. And he thought it was like hilarious because he was high as a fucking kite. And like he would rib on me all the time. He would fucking make jokes. He would make fun of me. Like he still loved me. He was still my dad. He wasn't like, but it was just, I grew up around so much of that I don't know. I have a harder time relating to women, I think. I'm now that I'm getting older and I've been getting more in touch with my feminine side and meeting more women and trying to make friends with more women. It's very recent though. Yeah. It's like a very recent thing. So it's interesting. And it's interesting to see coming from like sort of a male driven into a more female world. And that's the weird thing that I hate about, I don't want to call it woke culture because that's a fucking annoying term. People use it all the time. Mm-hmm. But like that culture of that they're trying to do this thing where they're like, no, men and women are the same. And you're like, they're absolutely not. You can't acknowledge that there aren't differences between men and women. There are.
Well, I have this interesting theory of where we're headed, which would be fascinating. And it'll prove it or not. But the narrative online seems to be man versus woman. Yeah. You get that vibe. Yeah. There's so many podcasts of just women together talking shit, so many podcasts of dudes together talking shit, and they just spew so much toxicity about one another. And it's true. And the kids are watching on TikTok and they're just like, right? So you're gonna see this divide, man, woman, and we saw this before in humanity. Like, you know, we were more prehistoric, like just kind of walking around, and weather patterns or, you know, earthquakes or shifts would obviously separate groups of people. They would be separated for hundreds, maybe thousands of years before they run into each other again. Yeah. When they do run into each other, they don't recognize each other. They go right at it. You know what I mean? Because they don't recognize. They're distant relatives, but that's water under the bridge, especially based off of what they had to endure. So men and women go their separate ways. Just based off of the social media war. We got all of this trans stuff. We can in vitro fertilize, all kinds of shit like that. So the reality is, we won't need each other once we split.
That's true. You're right. We actually won't. Do you think there's going to be an actual war between men and women?
Absolutely. And I think we'll get separated the same way sapiens were separated, to the point we won't even recognize each other. Women will go off and procreate and do things on their own, you know, trans here, you know, men will go off and do the same thing. We'll all, you know, create our own offspring, however we're doing it with technology. But when we reconnect, we won't even know what the fuck each other are. And it's just full on war.
Do you think, though, that we'll be able to get rid of sexuality enough? Yes. That people, because that's the thing that really brings men and women together, right? It's the attraction, because we're home. We need to procreate.
Home jerking off on the computer, and we got contraptions to make the shit feel real. And there's so many people who have never felt real pussy that they won't even notice the difference.
So that to them, they're like, "No, this pocket pussy is great. I've got VR porn. This is fantastic."
Listen, we've talked about this before with the food and shit. Like, I don't know what a real apple tastes like.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So because it's been genetically modified.
Exactly.
So many times.
I will accept that. You know what I mean? So the same thing with sex and interaction.
Interesting.
There will be a period you wean us all off because we don't know what the real thing is. And I think when we do come across each other, we won't recognize each other. I think that's also why dogs sniff each other's butts when they see each other.
To recognize each other?
Yeah, what the fuck are you? Like, you look like something I should know. Come here, turn around. Let me. Nah, I don't know what they did to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. These dogs ain't nothing like what the fuck.
No,
we did all of that.
We created a lot of these dogs, and a lot of them shouldn't exist, and they're in constant pain. We did some fucked up stuff to dogs.
Right. So we're gonna do the same thing to ourselves, where you'll come across another human and be like, "Well, what the fuck are you? I'm female. Female. We haven't had females in thousands of years. Right. Where did you come from? You know what I mean?
It'll be like a myth. Like, females have it'll be
females
this whole
have
thing.
Giant dicks. What are you talking about? Females didn't have dicks, did they? Like, yes, we all have dicks. And you're like, okay, what did you guys do to each other while you were over there? Whatever, girl science.
Wow, girl science.
Just girls in the lab listening to Beyonce as if I were a boy.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've talked about this in depth. If I was a guy, I understand why men do this. If I was a guy, I would put my penis in everything. For a day, if I was a dude just for a day, I'd be like, what does this feel like? And I'd put it in literally everything.
Yeah.
Be jerking off, find a woman, a grapefruit, a watermelon, a sex toy, like just everything. I'd need to know because You don't know what it feels like to be a dude. I have no fucking idea what that feels like for a guy.
Yeah.
Same thing for like if a guy was a girl.
It's like being
I bet
a
he'd
vampire,
experiment.
man. It's like being a vampire. I'm working out this joke now because I lost my virginity at 14. I think it was way too early.
You think that was too young? 14's young.
I was just like, that was my life after, just on the hunt. And I said I was like a vampire. Just, you know, when they first, I'm so thirsty and they need more blood.
Yes.
Now you're just out here for years, you know what I mean? But I do appreciate it because at least I got all of that sucker shit out.
You're
when
good
I was
now.
Younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now, when I see kind of grown men losing it and, you know, going live to expose a girl's behavior, and it's just like, oh, you're new to this. You're very new to this. You know what I mean?
I like how mature of a take you have on a lot of this stuff. Instead of just being like, you're trash, it's always like, you're new to this. You don't know yet. You haven't figured this out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Only difference between me and the kids now was there weren't camera phones when I was a teenager.
Boy, yeah. Thank God for that.
That's it.
I mean, there were camera phones when I was a teenager, but it wasn't prevalent like it is.
Yeah.
Like people weren't posting immediately all
You
the
didn't
time.
have anywhere to put it.
Yeah, there wasn't like, oh, Twitter, we're going to go on Twitter right now. Thank God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that would have been terrible.
All of that stuff is more recent. And because we tune in, that's what people, they know that's what they like.
Yeah.
That's what y'all really
No,
want to see.
that's true. Whatever gets the views, that's what they're going to post. I think we did a lot of good help for the internet today. I think we got into some deep topics. This was a really fun one. I know you're working on an album, right?
Yeah, my new album, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, comes out Friday, September 2nd.
Friday, September 2nd. So
Yeah.
this will not even be out yet. So it's already out by the time this comes out. This perfect timing.
Okay, yeah.
It's out.
So you go on all of my socials. I'm Dave Temple on all social media platforms. You can click the link in the bio for my link tree. For that album, my other two albums. This is my third album.
This is your third album?
Third
Dude,
album.
that's awesome.
I'm a real artist,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize that you had 3 albums.
Yeah, I got 3 albums. I got a book, a comedy special.
I'm sorry, you have a book too?
Yeah.
What's the book called?
Book is called Influencer. This was the nerdiest thing I've ever done in my life, Zia. I took 3 years to write an amalgam story of my life, my daughter's life. And it's just basically, it's a story about the social media, like celebrities engaging in asinine behavior on social media.
You mean like the people saying Imagine, that kind of shit?
Like when Will Smith was like jumping out of an airplane.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Snoop Dogg smoking a blunt on the White House lawn and protest of Donald Trump if he gets 13,000 likes. Like those kind of antics were very confusing to me, where I'm like, what the fuck does Snoop need likes for?
Right. He's already got millions of dollars doing what he loves.
Am I missing something? Is there something that I don't understand?
It's validation. I think we all want validation.
Oh, well, I came up with a story. That
Now I want to read your book.
Yeah. That there was actually a secret organization that's using celebrities to manipulate the thought process of the youth. It's
I wouldn't
really
even
good.
be surprised.
It's really
Now I want to
good.
read your book. You guys have to read. What's it called?
Influencer. Yeah.
Okay.
It's available. When you click the link tree in any of my bios, you can just see my book and you can order from right there.
All right. So I'm going to be reading that because now I'm super curious. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's what it was.
Yeah.
If there was some secret organization, I wouldn't put anything past anyone.
I'm thinking about writing a sequel to it, and it was inspired by the Will Smith and Chris Rock smack. It inspired me to write a sequel to this book.
Do you think that was real?
It's like, it has to be, but I've said this on stage. I've never seen anyone smack the world into a conversation.
Yeah.
For a week, the world all was talking about the same thing.
Yeah. And they all had an opinion on it. Everybody either was deciding whether it was real or not. And if it was real, why it was. It was Jada's fault. It wasn't Jada's fault. He was protecting his woman. Like, it was a big deal.
I mean, that's like Men in Black level control. Like, you watch the world shut down and discuss this very small event that really shouldn't be that important.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
When you, the only thing that matters about it is when you start looking at consequences for comedians when they're trying to perform their art and they're getting smacked in the face and everybody's like, oh, so it's okay to hit comedians now for telling jokes. It's like, but that has been happening for a long time
that's
already.
What I'm saying. It's like, that's been happening. Why does this make you have that conversation?
Right.
What is it about this event that he shouldn't be making jokes about women like that. That happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Why is this? I wasn't watching award shows that much. I know they get tuned in, but
I watched like fucking one of them, if that.
So even then,
I think they're stupid.
How did that become the thing that was like? How did we all get it so fast?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I guess once someone it's social media. Once someone posts something on social media and they start spreading real fast.
When I question that, people always laugh at me and they go, "You don't understand how social media works." And I go, "No, I don't think you understand how social media works. Like these things that you don't normally follow or pay any attention to, they show up right in your lap when they need everyone to see it."
That's an interesting point because that is a fair point because there are a lot of people online, a lot of social media influencers. I mean, I know who Mr. Beast is now, but I wasn't aware of him for a while. I mean, people who have millions and millions of followers, and everybody would think, I talk about that with Amaranth. I'll be like, oh, you know Amaranth? And I'm always surprised when people don't know who that is. Mm-hmm. But there are so many people online that a majority of the world, no matter how famous they are, a majority of the world doesn't know who they are still.
Yeah.
So it's really like, what is it that puts that one particular thing in front of you at that time? Because there's a lot of stuff you're not seeing.
Yeah.
Like a ton of stuff you're not seeing.
Yeah.
Because there are people that I'm not aware. Andrew Tate, I just found out who the fuck that guy was, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know who he was at all, but he has millions of followers, or had, before he got kicked off.
Did you see that video?
No, I didn't watch it.
No.
Is it bad? Is it legitimately as bad as people are saying it is?
That's why I feel toxic. I don't think so.
Really? Okay.
I think it was just him doing rough stuff that he does regularly that she likes. This fascinating that this is an old relationship. It's been done. She's not coming forward to complain about it. Where does this footage come from? This was from, they said 2016. Well, I mean, I know where it comes from. It's a fan who doesn't like the direction.
Right.
I don't like this anymore. And they've probably been slighted by Mr. Tate in some way, shape, or form.
That's always how it happens. I think people forget that the people that they're fans of are going to have ideas and things that you're not going to like.
Because nobody else cares about you.
Exactly.
You're not that important to anyone else in the world for them to take you down. The only people who will take you down are people who love you and care about you. And then if I can't have you, nobody can. Who killed Selena? A fan. Who killed Versace? A fan.
No, you're right.
It's you go down. That's what it is.
Who killed Dimebag Darrell? An angry fan. It's true.
Yeah.
It's fucking true. If you think about it, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
That's so wild. Yeah. Man, this has been a really fun show. Thank you so much, Dave, for coming out.
Yeah.
Plug yourself one more time. Where can everybody find all of your things?
I'm Dave Temple on all social media platforms. Find me, look me up. I'm pretty Googleable too, so
he's very Googleable. Yeah, Dave Temple. I feel like when I looked you up, I found you immediately. Read his book, buy his album, watch his special. He's full of great advice and he's hilarious. He's got a lot of ideas. Thank you so much again for coming out.
No doubt.
If anybody's just stumbling across this and doesn't know who I am, because I'm sure that happens, it's Xia_land on Twitter and Instagram, XIA_land, and XiaLand everywhere else. I also stream on Twitch. I've got the YouTube. I've got an OnlyFans. If you're feeling squirrely, check it out. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.